We're live. We're on.
Okay.
All right, guys, good to see you again.
How are we doing, guys?
Brilliant. Well, very nice to see you on this lovely sunny afternoon. And in the UK and in many parts of Europe and the world, I believe it's a bank holiday. So we're all enjoying that. And this is going to be shorter than usual because we've all got families to look after as well.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think we should recognise the colourful backgrounds we've all got.
Yes.
Because we're all looking cordial up.
What a design, eh?
Which is a really good chance just to actually quickly say, what does the logo represent? And it'll be interesting to know everyone who's seen it, whether they see something within it. But it's a good logo should have a meaning behind it. So looking at that, is there anything you guys would see there? And then we'll describe it now. So who wants to do the honours?
Oh, of us two. I thought you were asking the audience. I was going to say, oh, that's clever. How are they going to comment?
Yeah,
we should be doing these. We should be doing these live. I mean, I think, yeah, we had several goes at this, and we actually fell in love with a slightly different logo at the start, but it looked too similar to another company, another product that had been designed. And so we moved to this one, and we had a vote that went to the friends and family and some of our respected peers. Because we had 2 or 3 options that we were looking at, and we chose this one. So this got the unanimous vote, actually, or the majority vote, I should say. And the idea behind it is that it is 2 eyes that come together, because actually, when we think about cordial and consensus and collaboration, it is about seeing eye to eye. And so it's those entities forging a collaboration together. And then you have the pupil in the center, which we'll use as a little design that will also be used throughout the website. And you can see it on Sash's screen there, some of the other tools that we're going to be using on the applications and within the network that we're building.
Yeah, as well said. Yeah, the pupil could be seen as consensus in itself, like a spark that's created.
Yes, yeah.
Eye to eye. And then the circle surrounding the logo is the idea of being all contained within a secure environment, which is brilliant. I mean, Ben really smashed it on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And likewise, actually, with the CreDA logo, that was Ben, and it was the idea of, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
We'll leave links in the description, but it's a bird flying to financial freedom.
A freedom bird.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it is beautiful, but also in the shape of a C, and it is the design that we all liked as well. So I'm really pleased that Feng and the team liked it, and they voted for it too. So yeah, we've been helping them. We'll get on to CreDA at the end. So that's the logo. We're going to get some merchandise sorted out in due course. I can't wait to be wearing my hoodie with that on. So just some other things quickly that we've been doing in Cordial this week. We've had a conversation with a tokenomics expert from Portugal. We gave them a call. There are 5 of us on it, and we talked through our ideas, and we learned a great deal from that call, but always worth doing and getting second opinions. So that will allow us to take that forward. We have spoken to 4 students from university in Utrecht, Hogeschool. How do you pronounce it, Joachim?
In Dutch, it's called the Hogeschool. It's a University of Life Sciences. Yeah.
Hogeschool.
Almost. Just don't try.
I'm sorry.
Just don't.
Oh dear, we've just the University of Applied Sciences in Utrecht is what I'll call it, or HU University, and we've got 4 people who 2 girls and 2 lads who are very keen to come and work with us in some capacity, either as Orchard or working directly for Elastos or Cordial, but actually we think we'll be able to employ them really well in Cordial. And what we'll do is run 3 internships. That's the plan anyway, 2 starting in around September, 1 starting in January the following year. And then actually the 3rd individual will probably be given a part-time job throughout the next year, because she's already done an internship. So having really talented people like that come on board and want to be part of what you're doing because they've been working on it during their course is just brilliant, actually. And there's so much energy in that team. Yeah. What else? The white paper's nearly finished. So that's gone back to Ben for its final design, bit of an upgrade. So that's good. That'll be out next week. And the last thing is the mechanisms of the Cordial network itself is something that we were discussing last week. George and Sasha did you can say Sash, but you describe what you did, and then that will end the Cordial piece.
Yeah, I mean, not too heavy to go down into the technicals, but we've just been doing work sessions together where we've been figuring out exactly what core elements will make up Cordial as a platform. We've got this API ecosystem that we're looking to build so we can connect other businesses into the platform to then basically be able to get knowledge from knowledge providers all around the world who will have digital identities, and everything will be blockchain logged. So with that, we need to look at, okay, what are all the key elements that are within this platform? And then we need to figure out which one do we focus on really heavily first? And then what does our minimal viable product look like? And the whole idea is that we're testing a hypothesis here, and we're trying to find a means for testing that in the minimal viable product. And we do believe that knowledge hasn't been represented as far as in a Web3 environment yet. And there is the need for people all around the world to seek knowledge, but be rewarded fairly. So it's been really good. We've got some calls lined up next week, and we're going to be exploring this more with actual other professionals and speaking with them and seeing what's possible, what's not. And we're just making headway down this route. But from my perspective, obviously I've studied blockchain strategy. I love all the technologies underlying it. I've loved Elastos, Web3. It feels like that's been a diploma in itself for the last 4 years. But then I have someone like George, who's just so knowledgeable, and he has all these frameworks which he believes you have to go down. We've been getting ahead of ourselves talking about other aspects, and he's saying just put that to the side for the moment and we focus over here. And it's easy to do that and to get ahead of yourself, but that experience that George brings and the actual kind of framework is just invaluable. So it's been really, really good, and they've been some really fun sessions.
Well, also, I mean, the fact that he's got a PhD in artificial intelligence, and he operates in the networks that he does, gives us amazing benefit. Actually, it's great to listen to him, and actually, we all contribute, but last week he was really driving that forward, and that's good. So we've unpacked the 9 building blocks that we think we need, and then we'll have another go at unpacking each one of those a bit further. So there's lots that we're working on, so that when we do launch, we actually from day one we can start with the build, and we know what we're doing, as opposed to doing this all prior or all after the event. Sorry. Okay, so that's Cordial out the way, I guess. Orchard, we're still in Orchard. We are Orchard. We're Orchard, or Elastos Orchard on our website address and our emails, and we're still very much part of that community. And you see us in the Telegram groups and the like. So there's a few things that we've got to discuss on Orchard today. The CRC suggestions, I guess, is the first one. So Joachim or Sash, do you want to kick off on that one? Joachim.
Yeah, these I think that the big one, the proposal that's live now, is a bit of a controversial one, obviously, which I think it's also a very important one. So in the past year, we've made some really important decisions. We made very big changes to the tokenomics. And this one is really, if I translated it correctly, more about transparency. So background, from my perspective, this is just my personal view. Background is that a couple of years ago, there was kind of like an agreement between community investors and the Elastos Foundation that the technology would be built in, well, give or take 3 years, right? And I think that the Elastos Foundation has done a really good job. We've got so much that we can be proud of. And obviously there are things that still need to be built, but the foundation is actually pretty interesting. But at the same time, we were then suddenly left with the 1,000+ BTC, or it's the Elastos Foundation, obviously, and there is a big need to make that transparent. So this is not about giving that 1,000 Bitcoin to the Cyber Republic, for example. This is not about taking jobs from those who are currently building Elastos, but it's much more about bringing back the transparency and making sure that that level of decentralization is guaranteed to all of us as well. And I find it personally, I find it really interesting, because yeah, from here onwards, if we stay true to what we agreed upon on day one, then yeah, there is a say to it to make this, keep this transparent and give this, not necessarily give this back to the community, but be transparent in everything that you do. And I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, I think, just seconding that, the Bitcoin itself, I think it's clear it's not the community's Bitcoin. There was a transaction made in the ICO, and that lies in the foundation's control. So it's, again, there's no demand here or any asking for something that the community believes to be theirs, as much so as it's just recognizing that, in my opinion, that the foundation owns Bitcoin. They can make a decision based on their own basis, and that's absolutely fine. And any proposals given forth by the Cyber Republic like this is an opinion. It's a guide to say this is what the community or the members within have feelings, how they feel about this, and they can do with that as however they wish, because that's their Bitcoin to choose with. But certainly, we've seen the benefits of transparency, seen the benefit of actually opening up and talking about what's going on and how that affects the community. Even Feng the other day came out and talked a bit about Binance and what happened with the relationship. And it was incredible, the response on individuals and how they were just saying, thank you so much. And this clears so much up. And it's really nice to understand what's gone on, because for the past 3 years, everyone's been, complaining about Binance, not understanding the backstory at all, and just thinking it's something that the foundation didn't want to do.
Yeah, when are we listing on Binance?
It's a good question. It's funny. Elastos has been named in the Telegram chat around 70,000 times.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Binance has been named 10,000, so 1/7 of the amount.
Yeah,
which is incredible. So it's something which the community have obviously talked about, and they'll never probably stop until it's listed. But certainly, transparency is really important. And this suggestion to me is asking just for transparency from the foundation. It's not saying it will be a set in stone and we want to take the Bitcoin away. It's just saying, guys, let us know what's going on and let us know how much the Bitcoin is going to be spent and used as and when. Because
I think that's such a good point. Yeah, that's such a good point. And it's important to state again that this is not about greed, right? And it shouldn't be about greed from the Cyber Republic or specific council members, us, whoever. It shouldn't also not be the other way around. It should also not be one centralized entity that feels like, hey, wait a minute, I've got a bunch of money left and I'm going to spend it on whatever I want to spend it on. It's not about that. It's really about transparency, opening up, and also for the community to understand what is actually happening and why. And I think this step would be vital to that.
Yeah, the whole point of open sourcing code, for instance, is you find inefficiencies and you can then fix them. And how much is being spent here and there and what's being completely wasted. I certainly think that the efficiency of the foundation paying the teams who are building the core infrastructure, that's actually quite good in that all the teams are getting paid, right? No teams are coming forth complaining, saying we've missed a payment from the foundation. Yeah. So I don't think there's any issue there. And actually, I think there could be complications given that Bitcoin got handed over to, this is personal opinion, that there'd be complications getting the Cyber Republic to do that, in that the Cyber Republic doesn't vote and there's issues there sometimes. So that to me is still a question mark, but that's not what this is asking for.
No, it's not. That's not the point of this proposal. Yeah. So I think people have read in far too much actually about it. And let's be fair, the council can make any proposal it wants. It could vote unanimously to do something. The EF don't have to pay any attention whatsoever. They could. But at the same time, they could go, okay, thank you very much. That's a really interesting vote. We'll just do whatever we want anyway. Yeah. So, I think it is, you mentioned the fact that it's about an opinion from the community and the council. And I think that's absolutely right. I got told something quite interesting the other day that sort of goes back into our knowledge thing as well, about the different ways of working. So these are siloed approaches, organizations working separately. Then you've got partnerships where they come together. Then you have sort of collaboration, which is, that they work a bit very much closer and they try and achieve the thing that they want. And then you've got consensus where they're really working and interoperating, cleverly. So if we look at the moment, the EF and the CRC are kind of like this. You know, there's a sort of partnership, and occasionally it comes together, but actually it's very rare that they're operating entirely in an aligned way, because there's just not enough information that flows between them. You know, as council members, we just don't know what's going on in EF is the truth, isn't it? I mean, you know, we've got lots of contacts and we can find out, but we don't really understand. So yeah, trying to increase transparency through communication so that we can have this real consensus. That doesn't mean we're spending other people's money, or the council would spend other people's money. It just means that actually we can listen and talk and share and understand, and then we can work towards a really good sort of unity of effort, so that we can try and get stuff done with, you know, a little bit more in a decentralized way, but with a little bit more direction, I guess. You know, where's the North Star, and you know, what are we actually doing to follow that?
Yeah, it's a really, really valid point, Chris. Well, we'll leave the link to the proposal below, and yeah, let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think. Yeah,
that's, you know, that's the most important aspect. So have a read, and yeah, we'll share some thoughts, and we'll likely put up a poll as well, just to gather some more on the Telegram. But yeah, certainly interesting, and it's quite a big proposal just that's come out, and I think it's flying a bit under the radar at the moment, but it's an important one to be discussing.
Yeah, and you know, there's a Toyota, and you know, there's a famous Japanese guy whose name I've forgotten actually, from Toyota, who said, you know, don't trust someone else's opinion. Go and see for yourself. So before anybody out there makes their own mind up about this, don't just listen to what we say and what other council members say. Go and read the proposal. You know, it's there to be read. A bit like, you know, have you read Satoshi's white paper? Go and read the proposal. It doesn't take very long, and then tell us what you genuinely think, and then we'll understand. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people who just, you know, jump on a bandwagon sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I guess in terms of Orchard, we need to talk very quickly about the fact that the elections are coming up soon. So the whole political whirlwind will start shortly, I guess, in about 10 days' time. And that's when voting opens. And we'll see old candidates leave, I would have thought, and there'll be new candidates arriving, I really hope. And some of the old candidates will want to hang on, and yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who's going to run this year.
I can't believe a year's gone. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, no, it's exciting. So some of these last proposals, and guys, the one that we just spoke about the foundation, that's going to expire in 4 days. So it's coming up. But these are the kind of final proposals now that the current CRC is going to be voting on before we see a new council. So it's going to be really, really exciting. It's the 11th of May that we're looking like the actual elections officially start, and you'll start to see new people registering to become elected. And yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Who's in, who's not. We're still not quite fully decided, but we're looking like we're swaying to wanting to run again. We've really enjoyed representing the community, and we hope that we can kind of continue that path. So again, we got some really good feedback from the community, and it seemed quite positive. But let us know your thoughts again, and if you'd like us to run, that would be brilliant. What were we good at this year? What weren't we good at? Any feedback there is always welcome, and yeah, we'll always try and listen.
And then next week, perhaps we will actually do a reveal of whether we're running or not, what the reasons are behind that. And we'll look at, you know, what we did over the course of the last 12 months. I think what the council's done, we'll have a bit of review and a retrospective. And actually, I think it'll be quite interesting for all of us to do that. So that'll probably be next week and the week after. Oh, I've heard a ping. Wow. That probably means we should stop talking about that and move on to something else. So how about we talk about the latest big bit of news with the sort of the trilogy of Ella, then Filda, then CreDA. So yeah. Who wants to take that one on?
Well, okay, I can start that. And how exciting, right? The CreDA's happening. It's the Telegram's now live. We've been, as Orchard, we've been invited to help represent the international community. So we're doing our best to convey any information across from the actual teams. And it seems like it's moving full steam ahead. We don't have a definite launch date. We can see from the channels that they're really busy engineering it. So the chat within 24 hours had over 250 members joining. So the anticipation and excitement is certainly there. And it really is. Feng has released a white paper in a nutshell, which we're going to be releasing as far as a full branded kind of document for the community to share around. But learning more about what the project is and what it entails is huge. I really do believe this is actually very innovative, and it's going to have a massive effect, because Feng wrote another article from a speech. Well, he did a speech which was transcribed, and I resonated with everything he said in it. And it was on the basis that collateralization in DeFi, how we know it now, is it's thousands of years old, really. The idea of you collateralize something and then you take out a loan against it, that's not new. What's new is putting it in a decentralized environment, which we're seeing in DeFi. So the next logical step is being able to have credit, because when you go to take out money with your card, you don't have to provide collateral. It's given to you on the basis of how trustworthy you actually are. So that makes sense as the next logical step in DeFi, that we've now tackled the collateralization issue, and then we move into the credit side of things. And this is really exciting. It's all about owning a digital identity, which you collect on-chain data on yourself. Now that can be transactions that you do day to day, could be the amount of cryptocurrencies that you hold in that wallet, and just a variety of things that show that you're an active person and you're real. And the more that you build on that, you can provide that to CreDA, get a credit score, which allows you to then take out money on DeFi. And that probably sounds far more simple than it actually is. And you know, the team, which are made up.
You've got to be able to describe it simply, and you've done that. So I think that's great talent.
Well, yeah, no, and it's really, really interesting. I've been trying to just get my head down and learn more about it. And for Cordial as well, you can just see how if you can provide, if you can mint an NFT, which inside that NFT has your transaction history and all the things that make you a trustworthy person, you could then stake or provide that to Cordial to show that you are a trustworthy person too. And then what comes on top is your professional background and the information that supports the matchmaking when you want to connect with someone. But just finance being the first kind of stepping stone in blockchain as a whole, this is very innovative and very groundbreaking. The actual smart contract logic, I believe, is being hosted on Ethereum layer 2, which actually is very logical. I know that there's mentions in the community of why isn't that on Elastos, but they are using Elastos DIDs, and you can imagine for every person that then is going to be using CreDA, and imagine if it blows up on Ethereum as well, being that that's where so many people are active today. They're all going to be getting DIDs, which is a huge bonus, and then they're going to be building up data, which is all relevant to our blockchain. So I think it's actually quite a smart move. And August will bring more maturity to the whole Elastos smart web, and Feng has mentioned that he does want to try and bring it home at some point. So all in all, strategically it makes complete sense, but certainly Compound, Aave, all these kind of DeFi banks have innovated, and they've done a really great leap in providing DeFi where you can collateralize assets. And CreDA is the first really that's going to be coming and bringing the next phase of being able to have a credit score, which you can then take out loans on these banks without providing collateral.
I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing to be in this particular paradigm shift at the moment. We're right, we're in it. We're all part of it as Elastos community members who are listening and reading what Feng and others are talking about. We're allowed to see inside this world of change. I mean, it's amazing. And if you think about, if you could have been in that initial team that was talking about blockchain in 2008 to 2010, wow, wouldn't that have been awesome to be able to be in at that stage? And now actually what I think we are doing is looking at this from a really privileged position, actually. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. Can we get to the point where we don't just have a trilogy, Joachim? We've got a quadruplet of Elastos, Filda, CreDA, and Cordial, because we can provide the knowledge base into that. That would be awesome.
If I was to add to that, I would say Elastos.
About this, eh?
I agree. And if I was to say Elastos would represent Web3, or even you could add Profile in as well. So Elastos represents Web3, Profile represents digital identity,
DIDs.
Builder represents your banking, and then CreDA represents your credit, but then Cordial would represent income, because that's where you'd go to actually exchange knowledge, and whether it's getting paid directly for giving knowledge or being able to not get paid, but then to retain the ownership of the knowledge that you provided. That is data surrounding your digital identity, which you can then use to get better credit, and you can use that in a beneficial way. So it's a win-win in my perspective from the Cordial aspect, in that you either get paid to provide data or you retain it, and then you get better credit using other Web3 applications. But you can certainly just see this rundown.
Well, all those three, you know, Filda, CreDA and Cordial all rely on the DID and the reputation that you build up. And you either build the reputation through your transactions, your financial transactions, or you build it through feedback and through reputation scores in that you're given for your knowledge and your worth in that sense. So actually they'll be able to feed one another too. So that's, that could be an area that we get very excited about in due course. We'll have to talk to Feng and the team.
And there's a really nice analogy there as well with the old world, right? So if you want to go out and get a mortgage and you do it in the old world style, then your level of education and the diplomas that you have contribute to your credit score. Now, in this new world, we can do the same kind of thing in a decentralized way, where, you know, Cordial is exactly what you just mentioned, Sash, that qualitative contribution to what's already on chain and on the blockchain, and that's super powerful, I think. I had a quick question to you, Sash, because you mentioned that there could be some kind of overlap between, for example, Compound and CreDA. And you've done your work, right? So you've done your homework, you did all the studying. Could you explain your view on how that would work, for example, between Compound and CreDA? How could they play together?
Oh God. No, I think it's, from what I've gathered, Filda will be an initial place in which you could use CreDA to take out loans. You're essentially getting a credit score via CreDA, but you can then take that to a decentralized bank and take out actual loans. But I think there has to be integration from all parties for that to happen. So from my understanding, it will start with Filda, but in an ideal world, this technology will be integrated into, so they're called CNFTs, credit NFTs. And if these decentralized banks start accepting credit NFTs, that what they're saying is that we're accepting your credit score and we're going to enable you to take out loans. So ideally, we really see this adopted across loads of different decentralized banks, and we see CreDA become at the forefront and the one spearheading this innovation. And as soon as you really start building that and it starts getting momentum, I think the whole thing's going to absolutely fly.
In terms of time, I think I've seen a lot of people asking on Telegram and other groups, when do we think the release will come? That, as far as I understand, there isn't a timeline at the moment. It's just a wait and see. Do you know anything more on that?
I don't think we know, no. We should find out soon. So timeline right now is the Telegram's live, Twitter's coming next, white paper will be released as a really nice branded document to be shared. And then we're going to see a website come live, and then finally we'll see the actual application. It's hard to put a time on it, because I think the problem is that it was mentioned that end of April would be a tangible date, but it didn't happen. So I think it's, don't want to, as far as raise expectations by throwing something out, and we don't really know.
I think that's fine. I mean, it's just be patient, isn't it, really? I mean, we're talking about it now because we're excited about it, but you know, we're not trying to spread any false hope or hype.
No, that's it.
But it's coming, and it's happening, and so it's just a case of stay tuned, I guess, isn't it? And you know, when we find out, we'll let everybody know.
Yeah. No, it's, again, I think as we get to learn more, but then also when we get to the point of trying out the application, everything will click. But everything's so complex before you do that with all things, and you kind of take this, read the text, and you kind of make little bits of sense of it. But then when you finally, it all comes together, it's just like, oh, it's not that hard. And this is what we had with Filda, right? It was this daunting, oh my God, what is this? How does it work? And now everyone's just professionals at it, and they're just, you know, staking and doing liquidity farming.
And we were lucky as Sash, because we got to play around on Quicksilver back then, on the testnet, which was just awesome, because you know, it doesn't cost you anything if you make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I made tons of mistakes there that I then didn't have to make on CreDA.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's good.
yeah, let's hope we can play around here on testnet first.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a way.
That'd be very exciting. All right,
well,
guys.
we'll let people know when we know, we will let everyone else know, I think is the way forward. But there's plenty to read about now. And
yeah, I mean, the excitement's there. It's brilliant, and people have already come forward from the community to volunteer.
Yeah,
a great team around us already helping moderate, and I think as this just builds up, it will just get more exciting. And stay tuned. We'll try to do our best to keep you updated. There's not too much we can say more than what's been released with the white paper in a nutshell, opposed to what's going to be coming next. So look out for Twitter, look out for the branded white paper, and then finally we'll have a website which is coming together right now. Actually, Ben's working on it, so very exciting.
Good.
Really good.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's us for today, isn't it? So that's our Sunday. We're going to take tomorrow off because it's a bank holiday and we need to rejuvenate and love our families too. So we'll be doing that. But then straight back into our world of normal work and thinking about the future of work as we look at Cordial and Orchard from Tuesday onwards. Brilliant,
guys. Well, have a great rest of the weekend.
Yeah, same to you. Okay, a shout out to all the community because they're just fantastic at the moment, even when we have those interesting debates.
Brilliant, guys.
It's all passion. See you later.
See you later. Bye.